Go into the Kindle Fire stuff. I'm gonna go over this kind of quickly, just on the specs and everything, and then we'll go into if people should really buy Kindles or not. Us three have very strong opinions on this, so we're gonna go over it a little bit. But for the event itself, we have the new Kindle Fire, which is basically almost a carbon copy of the first one. It just dropped down 40 bucks and now has a 1.2 gigahertz processor instead of a 1 gigahertz processor. Then you have the Kindle Fire HD, which is going for $199 and just basically has it's kind of their attempt to go similar to the Nexus 7 with just a better resolution. Oh wait, actually this is the 8.9 inch. 7-inch basically has a 1280 by 800 screen and a front-face camera. I'll go over the specs later. The 8.9 one, it has now this one is kind of nice because it has the best resolution out there for the price point, which is $299. They talked about the reflective glass. Now remember, some of these things are only on the 8.9, not the 7-inch, which I'll show you guys on the specs later. They do have stereo speakers, which is one nice thing. Most tablets for the 7-inch do not have stereo, and that's one thing. It did show that it has two Wi-Fi antennas, which means it should be picking up connection better compared to the Nexus 7 and iPad 3. We'll see if that's actually true, because the old Kindle Fire definitely dropped Wi-Fi when I was doing my demos a lot. So we'll see if that's true. They did add audiobooks to it, so now they are going to have audiobooks more accessible. And you have this cool plugin called X-Ray Movies, which is just basically you have the ability to kind of click at the top and kind of see who the actors are in the movie that you're watching. Kind of a cool feature for their cloud-based movies only, from what we see right now. No other, like if you watch Netflix on it, it won't do it. So that's kind of the thing that they're kind of leaving some stuff out. It felt really reminiscent of kind of like an Apple presentation where they promised all of these things, and yet when you actually find out about the specs, you find out they're not delivering on everything they said. This was actually one of them, that they said that, oh, well, now their games can be backed up, which I thought was really cool. You know, when we switch to a new device sometimes, we lose all of our game data and everything like that, and they're saying that it would actually be backed up now. Of course, this isn't on every game, and that's what we found out since the launch. So that's also another thing. The new email app, my editor, who has his own channel, H2 Tech Videos, loved this because he used the Kindle a lot for his first videos, and he hated the email app. I mean, it like never got there. It didn't sync correctly. It was horrible. So hopefully we'll see some improvements with this one, because the first one was just, I hated it as well. I couldn't even use it. They're going to have supposedly their own Facebook custom app that's different from anyone else's. So we'll see how this goes, but I think that's kind of cool that they partnered up with Facebook to get their own kind of app that is supposed to be different for this particular device. They will have a front camera, so they are going to have Skype. No Google Talk, though, which is rather disappointing. Not sure about other parties like the Uvu and the other ones. We'll kind of see. They have something that is on other Android tablets with kid mode. They're calling it Kindle Free Time, which basically you can just limit how much a kid plays games or watches videos, or obviously you want unlimited time on reading books. So kind of things they can do with that, and also multiple user profiles, so that you can have other profiles besides just the parents and the kids. And the full-page ads, they did announce today that you can disable this, but people were really upset because for even their $500 tablet, they were saying that they were going to have full-screen ads like this, which would obviously be really annoying, and which people don't expect to have to do and go through when you have a $500 product. Other than that, you have a glossary, so when you look up stuff, it'll pull things from YouTube, Wikipedia, and Google when you can't find a word. And lastly, just want to talk about, so the first Kindle HD will be September 14th. The 8.9-inch model will be coming November 20th. And I like this quote from them, and I do believe it's true, that they don't want to make money when people use their, they want to make money when people use their devices, not when people buy them. They are really undercutting, and they're losing money again when it comes to these Kindle Fires, just because they just want to make money from their cloud-based system. And I think I went through that pretty quickly. Got a good timing on that. And so here are the four devices with price points. So you have the Kindle Fire, which is at 159. That's the first one. Then you have the Kindle Fire HD, which did add an HDMI out from this model and up, and Bluetooth, which the original Kindle Fire did not have. A little bit of a longer battery life. And they made a big deal about doubling the RAM, but their doubled RAM is only 1 gig because the last year's model was 512. So it's just more on par with everything else. And while the 7 inches are pretty light, the 8.9 is a little bit heavier compared to, or it's more like about a 10-inch tablet, whereas which normally expect the 8.9 to be lighter. So that was one thing that kind of surprised me, that they were going on and on about how light these are, but yet this one's a little bit thicker and or a little bit heavier, basically. They are thinner, however, compared to the 7-inch model, which I found humorous as well. And lastly, the LTE model, which I want your guys, as soon as I clarify this, I want your guys' take on this. So the LTE model that just launched is basically, they made a big deal about how you're only going to have to pay $50 for the entire year for LTE, which is, of course, impressive. However, they're limiting you to 250 megabytes a month. Now, I want you guys to explain this so the viewers can actually realize what 250 megabytes a month will get you.
Oh, 250 megabytes a month? We're looking at about, let's say that each song you download about a megabyte, 250 songs if you're downloading music, which is nothing. What do you think, Becca, Ricky, on web pages somewhere around a couple hundred?
Yeah, and you have to remember it's 4G LTE, so it's going to take a lot more data, I feel like. For me, I use 4G LTE, all of us do. How many gigs do you guys think you guys use a month?
I use closer to probably 5. I'm definitely a heavier user, so probably like 5 and up. Most people, though, I would say at least use 1-2 gigs.
Exactly.
Usually.
I mean, I have mine set for automatic Wi-Fi when I'm at home. I have it set when I'm at college, and I still use about 3 a month.
Got it.
So that's.
I think a lot of this whole LTE thing they're pushing is because of an older generation. Let's just be frank. I don't think anyone who's going to watch this video is going to buy a Kindle Fire anytime soon. And that's just because people who are younger and actually care are in no way, they're like, oh yeah, 50,000 apps, that'll be cool. Things like that. The LTE thing is just to get old people to get on AT&T's network, get put into LTE. There's probably some kind of crazy contract involved with that, with just the activation, or maybe an activation fee. AT&T is getting some money out of this. And they can pretty much guarantee that those users are going to be so low, it won't matter. And if they're so high, they're going to charge them just ridiculous quantities for overages. I don't think they've talked about any cap where they'll stop you. Like you can only use 250 and you pay them $50 once a year. I believe it's going to be you pay them in a monthly bill through AT&T and no prepaid, so it's a postpaid service. So you'll have overages and things like that.
So what we're basically saying is don't get bamboozled, pretty much, by getting the Kindle, thinking that you're going to have 4G LTE and be able to use it as much as you want. You're going to pay a ridiculous amount of money that's really unnecessary just because you get that Kindle and it has 4G LTE on it.
Simple, just use Foxfi and just hook yourself up with some free Wi-Fi tethering on all your devices. It's as easy as that. You can get whatever you want, man. Just Wi-Fi it up. No need to work around this whole oh, I want an LTE Kindle. That's something I definitely expect to hear from my grandparents, that they want an LTE Kindle so they can download movies at 10 times the speed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, old John Wayne movies will look real good on that HD screen.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, and I brought these specs up just for these are the main two they're competing against, really. The Kindle is competing against, the Kindle HD 7-inch is competing against the Nexus 7 and the Galaxy Tab 2. However, these are full Android devices, meaning they have full access to the Android ecosystem, which, I mean, that's always been my take, that, the Kindles, there's too limited. You only have 50,000 apps, and they're very limited in what they offer. Specs-wise, the Nexus is still above the 7-inch HD, and the Galaxy Tab is pretty much on par with it. But the fact that you have, you know, expandable memory on the Tab 2, whereas you don't, of course, on this one. The fact that you have, you know, a much better graphics and a stock experience on the Nexus, I think just still kind of bring home like the better overall experience. Would you guys agree with that? I don't like Kindles for that reason.
I agree, and honestly, I'm a big Jelly Bean fan, so I can't, you know, I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think it's really nice. When I got my Nexus 7, I was one of those people that pre-ordered it, and I'm really really happy with the operating system. I have nothing wrong to say about the operating system. So I couldn't even imagine going on the Kindle, especially with the limited apps too.
Yeah.
I agree. Jelly Bean is where it is at. Like from now on, we shouldn't be looking at any more phones without it.
In just a second, actually the Motorola M isn't going to be on Jelly Bean yet. It's supposed to come out around the holidays.
Yeah, they said by end of year, and I believe them. And I think we can all trust them. And if they don't make that, we can all bitch about it on the internet.
Yes, which we will. We will. I mean, you know, we will.
Yes, I imagine that will be the case. So I think we need to believe in the faith that Motorola will keep up with Jelly Bean. Because right now, I mean, my Galaxy Nexus with Jelly Bean is, I switched away from my S3 for it. That's how much of a difference Jelly Bean makes in just overall using the device.
Wait, so you're using the Nexus right now?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. How's the battery life on that?
Kicks ass compared to my S3. Yeah.
Because of his Jelly Bean. Yeah, no, Jelly Bean does do a pretty good battery management. I'm actually thinking about rooting mine because of something I'll talk about later with the wireless thing. Yes. But so, and then last thing, you know, just, of course, you know, we got to end with a little bit of bragging. No, wrong one. Keep switching on me. Keep switching on me. A little bit of bragging rights. You know, Google is now at 1.3 million Android activations a day.
Woo!
Which is it's pretty amazing just because, I mean, we realized like this was a couple days ago, so it was 2 days ago. So by like another 14 days, they're gonna reach half a billion devices, which I think is pretty big for, you know, just how long Android's been out. Actually, that's about 100 million. That was on average about 100 million a year since they're coming up on their 5-year anniversary, and now that they're at 1.3 million per day, it's just insane. So you know, when like iOS devices have a big weekend, it's like 3 million for like the whole weekend. Android's like, oh, that's a normal day for us.
So true.
And then lastly, the Samsung Galaxy S3 hit the 20 million mark in just 100 days, beating every phone before it. So, you know, I thought it was also funny, by the way. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but some rumors got out that the iPhone 5 is supposed to launch 10 million phones in the first week. And I find it funny because that's the only way they can beat the S3 is if they launch that many. Where Apple themselves has actually downplayed their launch. They actually think they're going to sell less phones than they were expecting originally. So I just found that funny that like it was it's gotten out that, oh, they're going to sell that many when it was just a rumor started by like Apple fans and everything.
How about the fact that the iPhone is going to get smacked around this holiday season? I don't think we've ever seen anything like this before. Yeah, all of the major manufacturers are going to be bringing the heat in 2012. This will be the most exciting Christmas season ever for us. We got Motorola with the Razr Max HD, Samsung with the Note 2 and the S3, and then
the Nexuses.
Yep, then we have at least two, if not three Nexus devices. And then we're going to have a new device from HTC that they're going to announce sometime. Windows Phone with the Lumia 920. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there right now, and I really think this will be a tough year for iOS.
I definitely, yeah.
And me being obsessed with Samsung the way I am. Sorry, I know this is the Motorola chat right now,
no
but I am so obsessive with Samsung that I think that most definitely they're going to be the biggest competitor. Well, that's just my personal opinion that they're going to be the biggest competitor against the iPhones.
Yeah, and they're really bringing it. Motorola, I think it will have a better year overall next year for the fact that this was the beginning of Google merging with Motorola that I think we're seeing, and I think that that'll come more about next year. And for that reason, I think Motorola is a safe bet to always get updates like Jelly Bean and things like that quicker because of that. I think that's what we can expect to see. But yeah, I mean, Samsung has really good hardware, and that's what they're always been really known for. That's why the Nexus is one of the best devices still, in my opinion, simply because of the fact that you have stock Samsung hardware and stock Android from Google. And software from Google and hardware from Samsung is a combination that's almost impossible to beat right now.
Very true.
Why use it? But let's be real here. I actually think at Verizon Wireless, we're going to see more of the Droid Razr M sold than the iPhone. And I will actually go completely out on this, out off the wall, that Verizon will be pushing the Droid Razr M more so than the iPhone. And that is because not only will it cost lower, it means Verizon is most likely subsidizing this device less. I think Motorola and Verizon have really cut some deals on this phone, and they want to move them. And they want to move them in place of the iPhone. And I can tell you, in corporate store locations like that, there's a lot of customers who don't know what they want, and they're pushed into an iPhone because it's a little easier to use.
And
but I believe Motorola is going to incentivize reps in store to sell the Razr M and ignore the iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, yeah, in corporate stores, also in dealer stores, people come in, they have no idea what they want. Honestly, if I were to show someone that wanted to upgrade the smartphone, if I was going to tell them to go over the iPhone or the Android, us being true Android believers, we're going to always introduce them to the Android side of life, and most definitely. And that's just being real, like Kobe says.
Absolutely. And, since the battery, again, leaked with a 1430 milliamp battery for the iPhone 5,
yes,
it's looking like even if it does have LTE, okay, say even if it does, which, as you remember my predictions in our prediction video, I said it wouldn't. But even if it does have LTE, it's going to have a minimal battery life, a minimal at best battery life.
What about the Samsung lawsuit? Did you guys hear about that?
Oh, yeah, that they will sue them if they put LTE on it, yes. Yeah. Apple's actually been buying LTE patents like crazy since then, by the way. They've been trying to buy everyone they get, but Samsung owns I think almost 13% of them.
Yeah,
so no matter what, if any one of their patents fall under that, which it will, it just, yeah.
So for the viewers that don't know what we're talking about, basically Samsung owns a big part of the LTE, and other companies have been paying them to use their LTE. Well, now, since Apple made the poor mistake of suing Samsung, Samsung's like, no, we're cutting you off. You're not getting any of this. So if you pretty much release a 4G LTE device, we're suing you. So we're waiting until that day happens. It's going to be a really exciting day, actually.
Yep. So yeah, it's really interesting, and that will be our next hangout, of course. And I think we'll probably be doing either live, right as the iPhone 5 event is happening, so we can kind of give our live responses, or right after. So yeah, it'll be really cool, and that'll be our next hangout. And hope you guys are enjoying these. Definitely keep giving us feedback, and we want to keep hearing what you guys like about these, and if you guys want to add anything to it. I did try to keep more on the chat thing this time. I didn't see any chats going on because I know people were upset I wasn't talking last time on the chat. So hope you guys liked it. Anything you guys want to add before we head out?
Kobe, go first.
Oh, keep it real.
Go Tampa Bay Rays! Woo!
All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and keep a lookout on this new video that we just recorded last night, which is the All-Share Cast dongle, how you can wirelessly connect the Galaxy S3 or the Note 10.1 to your TV. So just did some videos on that the other day, and will be up probably today or tomorrow. All right, guys. Thanks for watching.